Hey, star people, we finally made it. Hey, if anybody out there knows a really good interviewing platform for YouTube, let us know because we are wanting to make a switch. Okay, I'm Deborah Byrd. I'm here with your planet forecast through February 28th. And wow, we've been seeing a lot of planets in these first 2 months of 2025. And that's because the planets that you can see in your night sky right now are nothing short of fantastic. We're going to tell you what to look for, but first, this news. There it is. Okay, the Webb Space Telescope has spotted rapid fire flares and flickers coming from the monster black hole at the center of our Milky Way galaxy. And they're kind of like solar flares, but more dramatic because the environment around a black hole is so much more extreme. Our galaxy's central black hole is called Sagittarius A star. It has a mass of about 4 million suns, and we know no light can escape a black hole. So that's how we know that these rapid fire flares must be coming from a disk of hot gas around the hole. And this is Farhad Yusuf Zeta of Northwestern University in Illinois. He was lead author of this new study. And he said, in our data, we saw constantly changing, bubbling brightness, and then boom, a big burst of brightness. And then it calmed down again. He said it was exciting every time they looked at it. So that's a constant and rapid fire stream of flickers and flares from the giant black hole at the center of our Milky Way galaxy. But we're here to talk about planets. And I am here with, I believe, well, I'm not sure who's here. Let's see. Oh, it's Marcy. Okay. Hey,
Hi, Debbie.
Marcy. Hi. Marcy Curran is the voice of the night sky at EarthSky on YouTube. And she is here to tell us about planets uh, that you can see right now. So, Jeremiah, let's have the first slide. So, we saw this on TikTok. This was a video and it was about the planet forecast for February 21, 28th. And it said that you could see 7 planets in the February night sky. So is that true? Marcy, is it true? Can we see 7 planets in the February night sky? Let's look at the next slide before you answer that.
Well, there are 7 planets there, but you cannot see them all, and you can't see them all at the same time. So what we've got is Saturn and Mercury are going to be kind of horizon huggers. They're going to be only visible in twilight, and so you probably can't even see anything other than Venus at that same time. Uranus and Neptune, of course, are there, but you need optical aid to see them. And you'll probably not catch Jupiter and Mars, which are higher in the sky, until it's at least darkness starts to fall.
Hey,
So,
darkness.
no.
Darkness is good. So this chart is showing all 7 of the planets that are actually in the sky. So Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, Venus, Neptune, Saturn, Mercury. They're all in the February night sky, but Uranus and Neptune probably it's theoretically possible to see Uranus with the eye. Have I ever seen it with the eye? I'm not sure I ever have. Maybe
I have
once. You
I
have
have
never
not.
seen it with the eye? I think I saw it once. So that's 50 years of stargazing that I've got under my belt and 50 years from Marcy. So in our 100 years of stargazing, we've got one observation of Uranus with the eye alone. Let's see the next slide. But so just X out Uranus and Neptune. You probably need a telescope for those or binoculars for Uranus. But Mercury and Saturn, low on the western horizon, you said, Marcy?
Yes, I would look for them roughly 30 minutes after sunset. They're going to be in twilight, so they're going to be hard to spot. but binoculars might help. They're going to be closest to each other on the 24th of February. And it's usually easier to spot things when they're close together just because they're a little more obvious.
Hey, John just came
And here's
in.
John. So,
Okay,
yes.
let's. Hi, John. John Goss also has 50 years of stargazing experience. So we've got 150 years of stargazing experience here in this room. That's pretty awesome.
Quite a bit.
Uh, let's move to the next slide and let John tell us about it.
All right. Oh, these are the three brightest planets, and you'll easily be able to see these tonight or any night for the next couple weeks. Of course, Venus will be low in the west, and it's dropping a little bit closer to the horizon each night, so you got to get out and look at it before it disappears. Jupiter will be with us for a while. It'll be high in the south, and it's the next brightest object in the sky after Venus, and then Mars will be just to the left of Jupiter, high in the east. And all these three planets will be with us for a little bit longer. As I said, Venus, another couple of weeks, 3 weeks maybe. Jupiter, another couple of months. Mars, another, 3 or 4 months even. So we'll have a good chance to see them.
Okay. And so yes, there are 7 planets in the sky, but only 3 will be bright enough to really see with the eye: Jupiter, Mars, and Venus.
Right. Tonight, if you go out, and if you have a nice low horizon line to the west, go out tonight, you might be able to spot Mercury and Saturn right next to the horizon, like 45 minutes or so after sunset. The problem is that once this twilight gets a little darker, both Saturn and Mercury will have dropped a little lower, making them even more difficult to see, and then they'll disappear a few minutes later as they set. So
okay, Marcy lives in a place where you've got a really fantastic sky where you live, Marcy. Marcy lives in Wyoming. She lives in a rural location. Have you been seeing Saturn? Have you seen it recently?
Well, I'm in Wyoming, so we've had nothing but clouds and snow, but hopefully
Oh,
I'll have some clear skies soon and I can get out there and spot them.
yeah. So the Observer's Handbook says that Saturn will be visible decreasingly. I think the way it phrases it is that it'll become increasingly hard to see toward the end of the month. So we don't know if Saturn is visible right now or not. Mercury just went between the Earth and well, I don't know if it went between or on the far side, but it was just in the direction of the sun a few days ago. So I doubt that Mercury is visible yet.
Yeah.
On the 24th, the chart we're showing here, they're going to be closest. But will either one of them be visible? I think they're going to be a challenge. They're going to be a
it'll be
challenge
tough.
to see.
And keep in mind that Saturn goes behind the sun on March 12th, I think. So that's another 2.5 weeks, something like that. So it's getting awfully close to the sun. It's tough to see.
Yeah, Saturn. Are you saying Saturn goes behind the sun?
Yeah, on March 12th.
Oh, on March 12th. I'm surprised we can still see it now. I'll bet it's not visible. I haven't seen it either. So the whole country's covered with clouds, right?
Very
But
true.
yeah. Okay, but it's going to clear up because it's going to get to be spring. Okay, let's move on. Hey, okay. So here we all are again. Okay, so that is the sum up there is that there's 7 planets visible, only 3 are super bright. Mercury and Saturn are super low in the sky after sunset, probably very tough to see. Maybe you won't ever see those 2 planets at the same time, but Mercury will be getting higher in the sky after sunset. Mercury's heading into its best evening apparition for 2025 for northern observers. So let's see the next slide. Jeremiah, can we see it? Oh, there we go. Okay. Marcy, want to tell us about this?
One of the best ways to locate objects, of course, is when the moon is nearby. So on the evening of February 28th, we've got a very young moon. From my location, this is like a 28-hour moon. and that's pretty young to spot. So like John and you have both mentioned, this is going to be tough, but roughly 30-40 minutes after sunset, uh, let bright Venus be your guide. It's going to show up first because it's higher in the sky. It's obviously brighter. So once you find Venus, below it, towards the horizon, look for a skinny little moon and Mercury. And it's going to be challenging. I would try binoculars first and look roughly about 30 minutes after sunset.
But the good news here is that that green line on the chart is called the ecliptic. It's the edgewise view into our own solar system. You always find planets along that line because the planets orbit the sun in a flat plane. And so you can see that both Mercury and Venus are close to that line, that green line. And what's good about this is that it's March. It's coming up to March. So we're getting close to the March equinox. And around the March equinox, that green line, that ecliptic or that edgewise view into our solar system is at its steepest with respect to the evening horizon for the Northern Hemisphere. So if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, you've got a really great shot in March, any March, not just this March, but any March, to see things low in the sky. So you might well see the moon and Mercury on February 28th. And let's do the next slide.
Yeah, I've actually never had problems finding Mercury from my location. Um, I know everyone calls it elusive, but I think this is a really good shot this time of year to find it. And what's better, on the evening of the 1st, the moon, of course, has moved higher to the sky to brighter Venus, but you'll notice that little lit portion of the crescent moon there, it's pointing right at Mercury for you. And so once you find Venus and the moon, just keep shining that little follow that line down from where the moon's illuminated, and you're going to run into Mercury. And again, I'd look about 30 or 40 minutes after sunset.
And this is my birthday, March 1st. I'm going to have a party. I'm going to have like a Venus and Mercury and moon watching party for my birthday this year.
Boy, you can't beat that for entertainment.
John, got anything to say?
Oh, sorry.
Anything to say here, John?
Well, I think
this will be March 2nd now. Now we've moved back to March 2nd.
Well, actually, these 3 evenings will be very interesting to see. Finding Mercury going a little bit higher in the sky, and the moon. Always notice the moon is moving higher in the sky each evening, moving away from Mercury. So you'll see it progress across the sky like that. And as it does so, the Earth shine on the moon will become much more prominent. On the February 28th or March 1st, it's kind of hard to see because the moon will be sitting in the bright twilight, swamping out the Earth shine. But by the time that March 2nd and March 3rd, maybe March 4th, it'll be higher in the darker area of the sky, and you can see the Earth shine very easily. I think it's sort of it's a magical sight to see this.
It is. Yeah. It is. And I think it depends on where you are too, because I remember one time being in Colorado and seeing one of those incredibly thin little moons in the springtime, very close to the horizon in very bright twilight, and we could see Earth shine. And in fact, once I saw an old moon that was only 18 hours from new, and it was with a very steep ecliptic, and you could see Earth shine. So, but both of those things were in very pure skies. One was in Colorado, the other one was out in West Texas at McDonald Observatory. So if you've got a really super good sky, definitely you'll see it on February 28th, but I think everybody will see March 1st and 2nd.
Definitely.
Okay, what's going on here?
Go ahead, John.
Well, as March proceeds, Mercury will be dropping lower and lower to the western horizon, and so will Venus. So on March, I don't see what day that is, March 15th or so, Venus will catch up to Mercury as they both drop lower. So they'll be right next to each other, and Venus will be easy to see. Venus will be very easy to see. Mercury, not so much. It'll be a quite a bit dimmer than it was earlier, just a few nights earlier. But if you've got a pair of binoculars, look at Venus, and Mercury will be right over to its left. It'll be a little star-like point, and that might be your last chance to see Mercury for a while, and Venus as well, because it goes between the Earth and the Sun on March 23rd. So you'll be able to see it in the morning sky after that. Same with Mercury.
Okay, so let's see. We've got a question from a viewer. Matthew Hansen wants to know, what do you think about NASA Firefly's Blue Ghost mission, Ghost Riders in the Sky? So that is it, we don't have Kelly here. Kelly's the one who's been covering that. Do you guys know about this mission? I know it's not landing on the moon, is it? Or is it landing on the moon? Matthew, we don't know anything about it. None of the three of us here know a darn thing about it. It looks like. Do you, Marcy, know about this mission?
It's tickling my mind that it's going to the moon, and that's all I remember.
I know we have an article on it at EarthSky, and I know it was written by Kelly. So Matthew, come to EarthSky, and we will be able to say more about this as it gets closer. We just haven't been watching it as closely as probably we should.
Yeah.
And thank you for the birthday wishes, Matthew. Appreciate that. And okay, so I think that's it. I think that's our show for today. And John and Marcy, thank you so much for being here with us. I will see you guys next time.